Hello, Trailblazers, and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurial Journey. And today I have David Melville-LaBoarde. Is that how you say your last name?
That's right. It's a hyphenated
Ah,
name, actually, David Melville-LaBorde.
oh, nice, nice. So David is a awesome entrepreneur. He's got a great story to tell us. And first of all, though, I'm going to ask him a few questions just so we can kind of get to know him a little better. So first off, just from our chat that we've had online, I know you have a pretty interesting family dynamic. Can you kind of tell us about that?
Uh, my family. I'm originally from Guyana, South America. I came to Canada in 1978. My wife, my ex-wife, and my little baby girl, 1-year-old. We arrived in Alberta. When we arrived in Alberta, in fact, when we left Guyana, it was 40 degrees, plus 40 degrees. So when we arrived in Alberta, in Calgary Airport, we walked outside and it was minus 40 degrees. Have you ever seen frozen words? I tell you, they bounced on the sidewalk, I'm sure of it.
Ugh. I've never been anywhere that cold.
Oh, it was really cold, really cold. We didn't expect it. We were told to wear a jacket. So my wife and I, we had little leather jackets. When you walked out there, the leather just crinkled like that, right? Luckily, the person who picked us up, he had our jackets, big jackets for us, and we put that up and everything like that. So it was quite an experience at that time.
Imagine.
From there, what happens is I worked with this company. They were in the oil business, making heat exchangers, massive heat exchangers, but they were going from electric to diesel because in the fields there's not much of electricity there. So what we were doing is putting on big diesel engines, and I'm a diesel engineer, so that's why I came across on that particular entrepreneurial ticket there. Okay, so we were putting it in, and the recession hit. The recession hit Alberta in the late 70s, early 80s, where the federal government decided to use the Energy Act, and they shut the oil sand projects down completely. Like nothing, because a barrel of oil at that time was being sold or manufactured. To manufacture a barrel of oil at that time was about $55 from the oil sand projects, and OPEC was selling it at $30. So it was basically not good business sense to keep the oil produced in that way, right? So they shut it down completely. The banks were foreclosing. The banks were just like ravenous wolves, man. People would go home and find that their furniture, their bed sheets and towels all in the street outside there, locked out and big doors. And the sheriff was really busy at that time. So anyways, so what I did, my company closed down. I opened my own garage, and I kept doing repairs, and it was started getting worse and worse. So we had I had a ranch, and I had a lot of chickens and everything like that. So I started slaughtering my chickens, and I started giving it to my friends and neighbors and people, getting donated food and giving it around to people, because we had a little bit at that time. And it got so worse, so bad, that what happened is I had to close my shop down. So I sold my shop. I sold my 3 houses, and I had a ranch. I sold it all for $1 just to keep my credit.
Wow.
Then I jumped in my car, and I drove from Alberta, me and my ex-wife and my 2 kids. I have a girl and a boy there. 2 kids. We drove all the way to Toronto. This is in Scarborough area. And we started over again, and I had to work now for a dealership. Because I had my Alberta license, I had to work for a dealership. If you work for yourself for such a long time, then you got to work for somebody. And you have a person who is still wet behind the ears telling you how to do something. And he didn't even learn how to do this yet. It was like pulling teeth from a chicken. I'm not kidding. Anyways, it was really, really hard to start over again and then go back into that groove, working for somebody yelling at you. And it was, anyways, was that we managed, we pulled through. And then my marriage broke down because of a lot of difficulties we were having at that time. Their marriage broke down, and it ended around 1990 after about 15 years of marriage. It ended at that time, right? So that's me so far up to that point in a nutshell.
Okay, awesome. So what are your favorite leisure activities or hobbies?
I love to ride my bike. I love riding the trails. I go out with my kids, of course. I go to them and we go trail riding. And from there, that is basically my exercise. I love doing that. I'm going for walks. That's it.
Nice, nice. Do you have a favorite book?
My book. My book is Swiss Family Robinson because of the
Oh,
adventures. I
nice.
still remember that book, right? So
Hmm.
I still
And
remember that book.
and I think I've even seen the movie, and I thought the movie was pretty good. It's like
Oh yeah,
an old Disney movie.
it is like an old Disney movie. And
Yeah.
the strange part of it, coming back to, if you don't mind me coming back to my family, is I got married again, and I have 3 other kids. So in all, I have 5 children. A daughter who's 44, a son who's 38. They have 2 kids each, boy and a girl each. So I have 4 grandkids. And my second
Nice.
marriage, I have 3 children, boy 12, girl 10, and a boy at 9. My granddaughter is 7 months older than her uncle.
Wow.
My grandson is 3 months younger than her aunt. Okay. So when they go out together and they go walking around, my granddaughter holds her uncle's hand and says, "Come on, Joshua, let's go." And she's leading the whole trip. That's
See,
amazing.
that is the interesting family dynamic that I was kind of alluding to at the beginning. That is really cool. So many different age groups there.
They're all together. They all are like brothers and sisters, right? And the question came from my granddaughter because her name is Natalie, and my daughter Lisa would, "Hi dad, dad this, dad that." Natalie said, "Mom, I have to call that guy, my dad, dad. You call my granddad, dad." And Joshua calls granddad, dad. What's happening? What's happening? I don't understand what's happening. So my daughter said, "Granddad is my dad, but also he is the dad of Joshua. Joshua is your half brother." "Oh, that means he's my uncle?" "Yes, he's your uncle. I'm not going to call him uncle at all, but it was a bit like that." So,
Nice, nice.
gosh.
So this is just an assumption. I having never been to Canada, I just assume a lot of people in Canada are hockey fans because it's kind of like the national sport, kind of like football is the national sport here. So, or maybe it's baseball. I think there's a debate. I think baseball's on the decline here, while football's still where it kind of was. But are you a hockey fan?
Not right now, never.
Okay.
No.
Oh,
Why?
okay.
Because I was a very strong pro sport fan.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the mid 90s, when baseball, they started locking out the players.
Mm-hmm.
And they started striking for more money. And then the hockey players did the same thing. And I had season passes for all these different games. I had season passes for 3 years. I gave them all away and I said, "That's it, no more. I don't want to do with those because they're such highly paid babies crying all the time, So I said, no, I want pure heart. I need heart. When I'm watching a game, I want to see kids go up. Oh, I will watch the hockey players, the young ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 18s and things like that. There's no problem with that. But the other ones there, if they win, they'll win. I always bet on the winner.
I have become more inclined myself to root for college sports, especially college football nowadays. I'm a big Clemson football fan because it's right down the road here. And Dabo Sweeney, he's the coach, and it's just a different culture in college sports. And I'm afraid that might be changing because they're going to start letting some of the college kids get paid.
Yes,
So we'll see how that goes. But right now, I'm more of a college sports fan. So.
exactly. Yes.
Well, let's talk about a little more about your actual journey as an entrepreneur. We kind of got the beginning of that story, so let's kind of go more to where that kind of unfolded.
In the 90s, it actually started when the internet started coming up. I started going into as a mechanic. I got fed up of actually. I hurt my back doing too much repairs and everything like that. So I went into an office And it was quite an experience. Still grease under my fingernails. I had to take off my coveralls and put on a suit and go upstairs in this big corporate tower working there as a consultant. It was so strange to do that. But anyways, I started getting involved in internet marketing, network marketing actually. And from there, I used to use a fax machine, sending off and doing businesses that way. I made quite a bit of money that way, but was not something that I really wanted to do. So what I started doing is I started getting groups of people around me, and I would talk to them and I would help them by, I didn't know it was a coach back in those days. Okay. It wasn't nothing to do with a coach or whatever it is, but I just kept encouraging them and showing them how to go about doing the standing on your own 2 feet and everything like that. So it actually built up from there. I started taking courses, coaching courses. That's when it started coming up there. And I did life coach and the whole works. I'm almost certified on all of those things there. But what really got me was just before I got married in 2008, I came across Dean Graciosi.
Mm-hmm.
I came across his website and I contacted them. And it was so interesting what he was doing, how he was helping the underdog, how he was helping and just making you buoyant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dean had another person that he was interviewing, Frank Kern.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down and I listened to that 1.5 hour of the whole complete story, the sales pitch, the whole works. I was hooked, line and sinker, man. I was just in there, right? So I got the package, no problem. I got the whole thing. And I started using it and using it and using it. And then I started to realize that these high ticketed people, I'm not going to call them gurus because they're all experts in their fields, okay? These guys are awesome. They're very well organized, very knowledgeable, okay? Now, all they do, they give you a complete puzzle of 1 million pieces in a large cardboard box, but there's no picture. So you're left fumbling around, trying to put it together, wasting time trying to get the pieces, and they're fitting, but nothing's coming out at all. I started realizing that this is what's happening. Each one of them have their own niche. Each goes and sells on their own niche itself, but they don't give you the ending part, the middle part, which is the crucial part that brings it together. So what I did, I started piecing these things together, piece by piece, listening to other mentors. I got myself a mentor also, and I started listening to them and hearing what they were saying. And I started putting things together, pieces together. I have one of the most unique systems out. Once you can read, once you can understand, you can do it, okay?
Nice.
Now, it has a beginning, it has the middle, and it has a never-ending end, if you get what I mean, okay?
Yeah.
That's what
because you can always build on it.
You can build. And what I do also is, I've started doing this 3 years now. I go to most of the people that I was talking to and coaching, I found out that their problems started when they were little kids. It's like the PTSD, I think it is, trauma from young, what they were told, this is what's happening to them right now. It's coming back and blocking them from going forward because they probably were told that you were stupid. They were told you can't do nothing, you never amount to anything, you're never. So that's what's blocking them right now. So I came to the idea of getting the kids from scratch, trying to get them to avoid this before when they hit maturity or adulthood, it wouldn't affect them as much.
That's awesome.
Right? So I started going to schools and doing free talks at the schools virtually right now because of the pandemic. But virtual schools, I go there and I talk, I get kids. And one of the questions I would ask all, especially the young ones, The question is this, I'm going to ask you this question, okay? Remember, you got to think like a kid, okay?
Okay.
Now, you have to build a house. It's going to be a 5-bedroom, massive house, 3 stories. What's the first thing you do? Now you have all the nails, you have the blueprints, you have the boots, you have the workers, you have everything at your disposal right there, even the big machinery. What's the first thing you do before you build this house?
You put down the foundation.
That's right. You dig a deep hole,
Mhm.
ram rocks and everything in there, and make a strong foundation. Now you've got this massive, massive foundation, so strong, you've built your house on top of it. 10 years from now, you want to put another house on top of that one. Can you do it? Yes, because the foundation is so strong.
Mhm.
20 years from now, you want to do the same thing. The foundation is so strong, you can take it. Now we ask the kids the question, what is education?
Oh, you need me to answer this?
Yeah.
Education. So let me see if I can, what my answer to this would be. Education is learning from those that came before you.
It is your foundation.
Oh, missed it. So I got a 50% on that test. I guess I failed.
Exactly. 50%. Okay. The next error you make, you'll have to do 25 push-ups. Okay.
All right. All right.
That's your foundation. Education is your foundation. So the stronger the foundation is, 20 years from now, you want a promotion. You have that foundation there. You could go where you want to go. 50 years from now, you still have that foundation is there. So use your books, learn from your teachers, and don't try to slip classes or anything like that. Keep learning. The more you learn, the better you are when you grow up. Work hard now, live life easy, than live life easy and work hard later.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. And if I could just add to that, is we live in such an opportunistic time now. Like when I was a kid and when you were younger, the internet wasn't around. So the way that we can tap into knowledge now is ridiculous. And so many kids don't even realize it, what they have that we did not.
Exactly. I keep going back to the old story. When I used to go to school, I walked 20 miles uphill. When I'm coming home, I walked 20 miles back uphill again.
Nice.
My daughter says, how? I said I had to go around the other way.
Nice. And it was always snowing, right?
Always snowing, knee deep up.
Oh. So a couple more questions, unless you had more to add to that.
I have nothing more on top of that. So
okay, that was awesome, by the way. So just some ways that maybe help our audience. So if someone was feeling stuck, kind of where they are on their journey, what kind of advice would you give them?
You've already taken the first step. The first step is always the hardest step. And if you stop now, you will start sinking. The best thing for you to do is to take a step back, just a step to the side, and look and see what you've been doing all the time. Start plotting from what you started doing and plot what it would be like to go forward. I would also ask them, do you have that vision of what you want to be in 5 years, what you'll be doing in 5 years? Is that vision clear? If the vision is clear, then everything will start falling in line for you, because the mind does not know past, present, or future. And I'll give them an example. The example is this. This is scientifically done and clinically done too, okay? 6 pianists were put down to play a tune from Mozart. Their heads, of course, they had the different things on their heads, the probes and everything were there, and they recorded their brain waves. 6 weeks after, the same pianists came back and they were told, of course, they were hooked up again, they were told to imagine playing the same tune. Guess what? Actually, finger on keyboard playing and imagining, it was exactly the same wavelengths. So
Wow.
the brain does not know past, present, or future. But if you were to have an idea, if you have a vision so clear, so perfectly clear that this is what you are going to be doing, what you have in you, what you want in the future, you have that idea, that vision so perfectly clear, the mind will actually create a story around it. And that story will be part of your memory that has not happened as yet. So everything will start working because your mind is going to say, hey, it's there. I've got to make it. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. So everything starts falling in. In other words, don't ask about the how. Ask about what I can do now.
That's nice. I always think about, you see some of those graphics where someone's like an entrepreneur's digging a tunnel and just on the other side is success, but they throw down the
Exactly.
pickaxe and turn the other way.
Exactly. There's an old saying that says, the cave I fear to enter holds the treasure that I...
The treasure is in the cave you're afraid to enter.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yep. I use that one a lot myself, and I
Exactly.
remind myself a lot of that. So that is great. So I know also that you have helped people in many different areas. Some of the examples you've already given us some examples of mindset, but mindset, health, and how to grow a business. So can you talk a little bit how crucial the mindset and health plays into actually growing a business?
We all basically know this part of it. Traveling on an airplane and you're with somebody else, especially a dependent, and the oxygen masks come down. You put it first on yourself, and then you put it onto your dependent. Okay? In that way, look after yourself mentally and physically. In this way, you'll be able to put more into your own business. You can do things better. That's a health part of it. So self-preservation is very important. The mindset is you have to have a mindset in such a way that you can be going down the road in a straight line, and you have created these ruts, these deep ruts in the road from constantly doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. If you were to decide to change your mindset by just angling a half a degree to the right, you would be surprised how hard it is to get out of those ruts, to go to the other direction. Right? There's an old story that goes with it. I love stories, actually.
I do too.
There's this farmer. The farmer, for 20 years, he's been going 20 miles to feed his horses in a field. Every morning, 5 o'clock, he would get up, load his tractor, and drive in a straight line. Just kept straight line every morning, and driving back. 20 years later, his wife says, you know something, I'm getting fed up of this drive. Let's change. So she turned the steering wheel a little bit to the right. The tractor started bucking and bucking and bucking and bucking. Eventually, it came out of the ruts, and it went all the way another direction. He eventually fed his horses, but he found that the ruts in the road was the ruts of his life. The ruts were directly responsible for his ability not to advance, but just to stay in one spot. That turning the angle away helped them to change their mindset to go in another direction so that they can start seeing things differently, going further, developing themselves more and more and more. That's what mindset does to you.
What I also picked up on that is too, they were comfortable. That road was kind of comfortable, and they had to get out. The road got a little bumpy. It had to get a little uncomfortable. And you have to be okay with that, because
Exactly.
that's part of it.
But then some people hit that wall. When they hit that wall, bang, oh my gosh, I'm so comfortable back here. I might as well go back and sit down there and then plod along, plod along, plod along.
Right.
And then along comes David, kicks them in the
Yeah. David, it has been a pleasure having you on Entrepreneurial Journey. I want the audience to know how to reach you and to just to know more about you. Where would they go?
I'm basically, I do organic marketing. I'm on Facebook and my brand is my name, David Melville-LaBoarde. And that's on my profile. I used to have it at DML Coaching Consultants, but I took that out because people would PM me and says, "Hi DML, how are you?" I know. So I changed it to David Melville-LaBoarde on Facebook itself. And I am on Instagram. It has the same name there too. And not on Twitter, not yet. I don't want to go Twitter yet. I'm thinking of going on TikTok, right? But if you don't mind, I can say a couple of words of what my business is like.
Yes, please.
My business is, I am a speaker, I am an influencer, and also I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching, and this is helping people to get out of themselves, get out of their heads, to go forward and do whatever they want to do, especially improving themselves. And I'm changing the one-on-ones into group coaching because I find that there's only one of me and the one-on-ones take a very long time to do and it's exhausting. But I'm going into group coaching, 10 or 12 people. And these are all high-ticketed coaching, okay? The second offer that I have is what I do is I help people. If you are a newbie, if you are half the line, middle of the line, or you are advanced, I will help you to go from 0 to 10,000 K in less than 90 days. I'll give an example. There's one of my team who actually, when I say my team, he's a student of mine. In the first 3 days, he secured 3 coaches. He secured $9,000 in 3 days. And that is basically my theme is 10,000 K per month, okay, in 90 days. But he did it actually in less than 3 days, right?
Nice.
So it's like I said earlier on, if you can read, if you can understand, and you can work, the world is your oyster. My course is so simple, so easy. Right, so that's how I am, and I'm very straightforward, as you can see how I am here right now. I help people. I have a VA that I normally use that helps me to do more of what I'm doing here right now, promoting myself. But my VAs, I have 2 VAs doing my network marketing. Everything is done. It's all organic. I don't do paid ads. I don't get involved in any of those things.
Nice.
That's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, to reach out, I'm actually going to put David's profile link below the video here so that you can, his Facebook profile. So that's one way. I'm sure if he's not capped out on friends, you can friend request him and then DM him, whatever needs to be done there. So I will do that. And any parting words for us?
From one of the best of the best, I think it is, competence gives you confidence. That's from Melville-LaBoarde, okay? Competence gives you confidence. You're competent in what you do. It gives you the confidence to go and do what you know best, okay?
Yeah, awesome.
There's another one of mine, which I've actually made, and I'm going to be, I'm hopingly nobody steals it from me, but everybody talks about the why and why. Your why. You have to have your why. Know your why. My own is this. If your why don't make you cry, it isn't strong enough. You've got to have the emotions that drives you forward. That's your why. Makes sense?
It. Yeah. and I think my first interaction with you is I might have sent you a question asking you about your why. So that's
it. Yes.
Yep. Awesome.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. Awesome. So once again, it's been great having you on Entrepreneurial Journey, David, and I look forward to just continue being friends and seeing how how everything turns out.
Doug, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure being here with you. Thank you very much for having me on.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Bye.
Cheers.